published by Shuseia and written by Kohei Horikoshi in 2014 was that of My Hero Academia. In a world where men and women whom have abilities or traits that differentiate themselves from the rest of the population, the powers that these people have are called quirks. Depending on their own beliefs or circumstances in their life, they could either become heroes or heroines, but at the same time they could also become villains or villainesses. Izuku Midoriya is one of a new generation of the youth who hopes to make his impact within his community and even the world. Introduced in chapter 72 of the manga and episode 41 of the original Japanimation was Tomoko Shiritogo, under the alias of Ragdoll. Initially introduced as a member of the professional hero team the Wild Pussycats, Tomoko helped the team with the use of her quirk. Tomoko called her quirk Search, where the ability allowed her to observe as well as monitor up to 100 different people at any given time. She even developed it further to include their exact location as well as their physical or mental weaknesses. Upon using her talent on an individual, the information gathered from the person would be then stored in her memory with a photographic quality. Due in no small part to Tomoko, the Wild Pussycats were one of the premier supergroups operating within Japan. However, due to the events depicted in the manga, and in particular the Japanimation, Tomoko had her quirk ability stolen. Not only that, but other members of the Pussycats were also injured. Upon learning that her powers were taken from her, it mentally and physically shattered her. She went into a deep depression, and the Pussycats temporarily withdrew from hero work to help take care of Tomoko and to make sure that she was doing fine, both physically and mentally. Midoriya commented that during the time the Pussycats were doing hero services, their ranking as a professional group declined, and he speculated that Tomoko was more important to the group than anyone had originally believed. With the news that her powers were taken from her, Ragdoll became the first example since All Might's debut a respected and ranked heroine would step down from her position as a member of the super community. As Ragdoll's retirement from being a heroine became known about, it was eventually and unavoidably spoken about in the hero community as well, and later as a result of the discussions about her, Tomoko eventually returned to the super community as someone who supported the Wild Pussycats in other ways, in the sense of being a public representative of the team, and literally helping any way she could. Eventually, Tomoko decided to live a private life, away from the public scrutiny and perceptions of heroes and heroines. The Wild Pussycats' hero ranking declined further, and though the team was still a force for good in Japan, it's nothing like what it was when Ragdoll was a member of the team. Midoriya mentioned that the entire incident with Tomoko and the Pussycats showed the dark and often unspoken reality of being a superhero or superheroine. Sometimes you don't end the career in the way that you would want to, and being an individual with a quirk, it's an often stressful and even regretful experience at times. Even a thankless reality where you can lose everything. No one would understand your situation, nor would they care about you after that fact is known. Sometimes a character could be forgotten because they were a discreetly mentioned fact that could theoretically occur to all other characters in a fictional media source.